Wintersaga was an album I was really looking forward to. So, of Iron and Gold, why is this instrumental introduction song 2 minutes 50? I know it leads into the title track Wintersaga, but it's 2 minutes 50. It's way too long. What they should have done is added this to Wintersaga, and then, as a bonus track, added the single version of Wintersaga. Like what they did with Stonehymn with the returning race, having the extended version be on the album and then having the single version be on its own, but instead having them both on the same album, one as the main track and one as the bonus track. And honestly, I kinda have a few issues with Winter Saga. So first off, the sound mixing wasn't the best. I could barely hear the vocals over the instrumentals in the background and the guitars and the drums and just everything. It just merged into one, and I had real issues trying to listen to this song. The song's alright, it's an alright title track, if a little bit underwhelming and forgettable. And this honestly annoys me as the next song, Drunken Dwarfs, is fantastic. I love this song. Everything about the song is great. It's a fun song, it's catchy. The song was the first song on the album, even though Winter Saga does have it, where they bring back the scream vocals. And that was only introduced in a single that they released called Attunement. And Attunement wasn't released on any of their albums, it was just a single that they threw out there in 2016. But in Winter Saga and in Drunken Dwarfs, it's a good addition. They released Drunken Dwarfs first, and I was glad to see it in there. And I'm gonna spoil it now. They do use their scream vocals a lot more in this album. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Back to Drunken Dwarfs. When it first released as a single, I kept on putting it on repeat. Honestly, I've got nothing else to add on to Drunken Dwarfs. It's a great song. And now we move on to the song that I did not expect them to do a cover of. Why did they do a cover of Diggy Diggy Hole? For any of you that don't know what Diggy Diggy Hole is, it was a song that Yogscast released way back in the day. And if you don't know who Yogscast are, they started out as a gaming channel posting World of Warcraft videos and then expanded out from there. Honestly, I've never watched their stuff, but back to Windrose. I understand why they released this song. They needed a song like this, just like Ailstorm released a cover of You Are a Pirate. It's there as a joke song to help introduce more casual listeners to them. I'm fine with the song, I was just shocked that they released this song. I was very disappointed that they released this song, because I completely forgot about this song, well, the original version, but the two versions are so distinct that they are practically two different songs. And looking back at it now, I find it funny how I was getting mad at the song when they first unveiled it. So first of all, they switched record labels. They are now with Napalm Records. So what ended up happening is they released a teaser for Windrose's new song. It was more of a marketing tactic to say, hey, we now have Windrose, as well as, hey, they're coming out with a new song. They did show parts of the music video, but it was nothing significant. It was to show, hey, that they're back, and they're releasing a new song. What could the song possibly be? Here's a release date. And then the release date hit, and it was Diggy Diggy Hole. And I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit annoyed. I was a little bit frustrated. I was like, why did you release this? And then I refused to listen to the song. And then I looked up the album and it showed that it was on there. But I've warmed up to it. It's a great addition to the album. I'm glad that they've released it. I'm glad that more people are listening to Windrose and discovering them because of this song. And I know that I've talked more about how they released the song than the song itself. The song is great. Instrumentally, it's fantastic. Vocally, it's fantastic. Has a lot of flair to it, has a lot of style. You can tell that a lot of passion went into this. That it was something that they decided to do as a joke, and it just became bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point of, at least in my eyes, less of a side project and more of a main project. And this song reminds me so heavily of Glory Hammer, and how they took something that is so dumb but put so much effort into it to make it this unique thing that It's just fantastic, and I'm glad it's just out there. But what I don't get is the next song, Mine, Mine, Mine. To me, these songs are so similar. This is similar to Diggy Diggy Hole. I couldn't pay attention to this song. I struggled to. It's alright, it's got some fantastic vocals in it, like Winrose normally is. I love how they do their melodic vocals. But after Diggy Diggy Hole, it's two songs of the same thing. And Mine 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 is just over 5 minutes long. Same with Diggy Diggy Hole. So you're getting essentially 11 minutes of the same thing. And that would have been fine if it was one song. But two songs back to back isn't the greatest. Mine 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 isn't a bad song. It's pretty decent, with a few forgettable parts, but it's ruined by placement in the album. But what isn't ruined by placement in the album is the next song, The Art of War. And this song shows why I fell in love with Windrose in the first place. It is very Stone Hymn as well as Wardens of the West Wind in terms of style. This song shows the really unique vocal style that they go for, using their vocals to slow down and speed up with the songs. And this song is really good. And again, this song showed me why I fell in love with Windrose in the first place. This put me in a good mood for the next song, There and Back Again. And this song has an intro that's very reminiscent of Winter Sun, but this song goes for more of a serious tone compared to the previous songs on the album. This song reminded me a lot of Dance of Fire, with the way that the vocals are structured, but overall the song is great, even though at times the song can be a little bit repetitive. And continuing the style of There and Back Again is The King Under the Mountain. This song is quite similar to There and Back Again, so I'm probably not going to spend much time on it. But what I will say is they decided to use a lot more scream vocals in this song. And honestly, it's unnecessary. It kind of ruins this song. I would say for Windrose it falls in the category of average. If they had the vocals normally, with the screams it falls under average. I felt like they decided to just throw the screams in there for the hell of it, since they decided to start including screams. And it ruins the song for me. And thankfully We Were Warriors fixes that issue and brings the album back with a solid finish. This song mixes the Art of War with the Returning Race. I'm not talking about the single version of the Returning Race, I'm talking about the One and Stone Hymn, the extended version. And they merge perfectly. The song is 9 minutes long though, so this is a pretty long song. And they use that time perfectly, with the verses being different enough from each other to not keep the song repetitive, as well as having different sections of the song that are great. And they don't shy away from using long instrumentation sections in this song. It actually helps this song. The end of the song is quite long, and they use that time with all this build that they have to slowly burn it off, and it ends the album in a great way. So that leaves me to give this album a score, and I'm gonna give it a solid 6. There was some great stuff in this album. Unfortunately, with the introduction song being way too long, as well as Mine Mine Mine's placement, and finally The King Under the Mountain just being underwhelming. But I'm glad to see them being a little bit more experimental instead of just sticking to what they know. And I'm glad to see a band as niche as Windrose trying to up the ante, even if there is no competition. They could have easily just thrown together a quick album that was very similar to Stone Hymn, but instead they decided to do a lot of things differently and be more experimental with Wintersaga, and that's commendable. But I'm going to be honest, I really prefer the style of Stone Hymn over Wintersaga. I feel that Wintersaga isn't as unique as Stone Hymn, but still an interesting listen. And I hope that this album gives you the encouragement to go back to listen to their previous stuff, because their second and third album were honestly fantastic. So to round it all off, it's a good album, a little bit experimental, maybe not their best work, but still a fun listen.